Hello, everyone. My name is Philip Alensos. I'm an associate professor in the Department of War Studies at King's College London. I also serve as the NGO coordinator for the BWC. I'm going to try to share my slides. So let's see if this works. I hope you can see that. There we go. So Remy's asked me to speak to you about civil society in the BWC, but before I do so, let me take a few moments to introduce myself. I've been engaged in the BWC for over 20 years. One of the driving forces behind my engagement is a desire to develop understanding of the social context of biological threats and our responses to them. And through understanding this social context, to strengthen the next generation's resolve that biological weapons are not developed and not used. So in my work, I highlight how biological weapons are the products of particular technological, political, and cultural contexts, but also, importantly, that biological weapons are impacted by individual choices and values. My message is that individuals and their moral frameworks matter, not just in the conception, development, and use of biological weapons, but in efforts to create a lasting ban to sustain the moral abhorrence against these weapons. Now, you can read more about this in my 450-page volume, where I gathered contributions from over 40 top biosecurity experts. I introduced the book with book launches in Washington, D.C., London, and Geneva back in 2016, and this photo is from the DC launch, featuring some of the wonderful local contributors there. So Gigi Granville, you can see Sonia Gormley, Joe Husbands, the late Joe Husbands, and Nancy Connell, all of whom are giants in the biosecurity diplomacy field. Now, I dedicated the book to my own children, to Elena and Maya, but also to the children or grandchildren in some cases of the contributors to the book, and as well as to other inquisitive minds of the next generation. So as you understand, my children are an important part of my life, including my working life. And here you have a picture of my eldest, Elena, just a few months old, at her first Biological Weapons Convention meeting in 2009. One way that I engage with BWC delegates is through statements. And over the years, I've delivered quite a few. Some of these have been as statements on behalf of King's College London. Some have been as joint NGO statements. This is something I initiated when I took over the NGO coordinator role in 2016. And on the slide, you see me giving a joint NGO statement in French to highlight the diversity, the multilingualism of our community. Another way I engage is through hosting side events to BWC meetings. Here you see some examples of the side events that I've organized. The one currently on the screen is one I held together with the Max Planck Institute in Germany. This is one I held on verification together with the government of Norway. We published a series of policy briefs. And here is a third one that I hosted jointly with the United Kingdom, which was essentially a film screening followed by a debate and discussion with the producer of the film. It was a film about Porton Down, which is the UK premier centre focused on science and technology development. Of course, I also write analyses about meetings. Here's a few I wrote in just 2022, which was an extraordinary year for the convention. So there was really a lot to write about. This is my most recent piece that I co-authored with one of the Geneva-based diplomats. But for me, engagement with the BWC isn't just about the conference and meetings in Geneva. Fieldwork is also an important aspect of my work, where I gain a deeper appreciation of biological threats and how to respond to them. And here I'm taking part in a biopreparedness exercise together with the Portuguese army. Here you can see me during a similar sort of exercise with the WHO team. Raising awareness of biological weapons and the repurposing potential of biology and the life sciences is important to me too. Here you see a feature of me in the Wall Street Journal's weekend interview under the title "A Scientist Who Said No to COVID Groupthink." And on the right side, you see, again, a featured interview of me and the Royal Society's biologist. Here you see featured interviews in the French newspaper Le Monde and the Spanish newspaper La Vanguardia. And I'm often engaging with all kinds of media outlets, commenting on current stories. And here you have me on the BBC News at 10, just some indicators and examples of some of my media work. Getting biosecurity on the political agenda is important too. And here you see me meeting the Russian Deputy Foreign Minister, Sergei Rybakov. I also had the privilege to meet not just one foreign minister, but three at the very same time in Berlin. So here you see me with the CIPRI team in front of our poster on rethinking biological disarmament for the 21st century. On the left, you have the German Foreign Minister, Heiko Maas, the Swedish Foreign Minister, Margaret Wallström, who has been such a champion of feminist foreign policy, and also the Dutch Foreign Minister here, Stef Blok, all of whom have since been replaced, of course. And here, finally, you see my youngest, Maya, hanging out at the Biological Weapons Convention meeting a few years ago. So I hope that's given you a little quick flavor of me and some of my own engagement with the BWC. I'll now turn to introduce civil society engagement with the BWC more generally. So civil society has always played important roles in awareness raising and education about biological threats, as well as disarmament and the BWC. Civil society also plays an important role in encouraging responsible behavior in biological research and convention-related activities, important role in providing analysis and new thinking and alternative framings, and in partnering with governments and pushing governments to go further. And I think an important role in bridge building between relevant communities and networks, as well as in shaping the next generation. So very much you guys, and the sort of work I'm doing right now, speaking to you. The BWC has traditionally been characterized by a particular kind of civil society engagement. And that is one that is mostly expert-based and highly technical, where engagement has been marked by quiet lobbying and supportive partnerships with national delegations on a variety of issues, the sorts of things I highlighted in my own work, the side events, for example, that I did with the government of Norway or the government of the UK, or the peer review visit that I did in Georgia, these kinds of quiet and supportive partnerships with governments. So the individuals involved have tended to have long-term personal commitments to the treaty. I've been involved for more than 20 years, and I'm still at it, but there are many who have been going for much longer than I have. And we often identify as, or self-identify as, friends of the convention. Civil society engagement in the BWC is unlike engagement in other areas of arms control. So for instance, the international campaign to ban landmines, the international movement to monitor and control small arms use and proliferation, and the international campaign to abolish nuclear weapons can all be characterized by more collective, single goal-orientated activism. Now, this isn't a value judgment. There are good reasons for different approaches, principally because the dynamics required to sustain and support an existing regime are different to those that are required to collectivize around creating a new one. Coalitions have a common goal or call for change, a common plan, a leadership and membership, a collective identity. The BWC NGO community doesn't really have all of that. So rather than coalition building, a better model to represent BWC civil society is community building, where you have a group of like-minded people who work individually and together with a broad overall aim of encouraging responsible science and of reducing biothreats. It's a more inclusive and a more flexible model, and I think that's why it suits our community better. So I'm proud that in the BWC, civil society cannot really be characterized as a collective, as the civil society. Many in civil society are representatives of universities, like myself, coming out of a long history of chemical and biological weapons engagement. But a number of civil society actors are not academics at all. Some actors see themselves primarily as observers without claiming a political agenda. Others come from institutions with very clear political agendas. Some come from think tanks or policy-focused institutions. And so BWC civil society actors are in many ways heterogeneous, so different. Its members approach the treaty with different backgrounds, with different affiliations, different agendas, different strategies. At the same time, however, civil society actors are also very homogeneous. So the vast majority of us are white, Western, and from the global North. And this can lead, for instance, to framing the engagement discussion in a particular way. We clearly need a more global, a more a younger generation to be involved, a younger generation in both the life sciences and in terms of arms control experts. We've seen some improvements here in the last few years, and I'm so delighted that the Youth for Biosecurity initiative is going strong. I'm so pleased that you are all involved, and I hope to meet you at some stage in Geneva. That's all from me today. But for now, I wish you a very good rest of your course and good journeys to Geneva. And as I say, I hope to meet you in person when you do arrive. Take care and all the best.